3, 2, 1. Episode 17 of Simply Terrifying. Are you ready for it? It's called Cry About It, Then Stop. Simple enough, right? Simple enough. Today we are going to go into all those people who love to play the victim. My. I can go all the way back to little kid times, okay? And I can pull out so many people who play these cards constantly and still do as adults, same age. And it's like, it works for them, I guess, because it gets them just enough to live, I guess. Normally, it's what they've always done, so why change it? If it works for them, why change it? Why risk, mixing up the formula? Okay. Why do so many people play the victim, though, in life? Why is accountability so scary? Why is it so avoided? Well, let's dive in, huh? In psychology, playing the victim often refers to a victim mentality, a chronic mindset where an individual perceives themselves as a constant target of negative actions by others or misfortune, regardless of actual evidence. That's an important one. While this can stem from genuine past trauma, it often persists as a learned behavior because it provides significant, often unconscious psychological benefits. What benefits can you receive from playing the victim? Billy? Well, you get shit for free. You get things faster. I don't know. Here we go. Why people adopt this mindset. We'll actually go. So, avoidance of responsibility is a big one. A huge one. By portraying themselves as powerless victims of circumstance, individuals can avoid the scary burden of being accountable for their own life choices and failures. Very good. Let's take that and run with it, shall we? So, let's say that once upon a time your mom told you no for something. And because of that, you developed this horrible, traumatic cycle of events where every time someone told you no, it brought you back to that time. And so now you just can't even risk it. Like there are bigger things, but you blame that instance. Even if it's 10 years ago, 30, 40 years ago, you blame something. And that's why you hold on to that moment and you ride it hard into your entire life. So every time you fail at something, every time you suck at something, every time you make a bad choice, it's all because someone else did something once upon a time. It's crazy. So another reason is secondary gain. This refers to the benefits received from staying in a problematic state, such as gaining sympathy, attention, or validation from others. It can also result in lowered expectations from others, providing a relief from pressure. Yeah. Let's go back to the person I know. Or one of the people that I know. Never worked. Ever. Okay? Let me take that back. The job that I know that this person had, because I did the same job, okay, involved a conveyor belt at some point. And what would happen is we would stand on either side of this belt and have to put things into it, right? I think it was we were sorting pickles or something, cucumbers or whatever. So the good ones you let go by, and then the bad ones, or the pieces, or the whatever, you throw in the middle. This is moving. Some people have motion sickness. Okay. Now, there are medicines for motion sickness, and there are other techniques you can deal with motion sickness. Okay, whether if it's taking a break or closing your eyes at some point, whatever there are things to do. One day, one day of work, this happened. And then she didn't want to do it anymore because she had motion sickness. Okay, she can't do that because she'd get sick even for a moment. But she still wanted the money. So she played it off as she got really, really sick. Okay, really sick. And then someone else stepped in, did the work for her, and still gave her the money. Why? I guess we just answered our own question. If you can pull that off as like a teenager, and you can see that you tell a bullshit story, you get sympathy, you get someone else to do the actual work, and you get the payoff, why the fuck would you actually try at something then? You just perfect this right here. This formula. Oh, and she did. I don't know that she's ever actually worked a job. Because she became a mom. Okay, yeah, that's a lot of work. But I know a lot of working moms. I know that it's not an impossibility just because you have kids. Doesn't mean you can work. Now, she's one of the people who very much benefits from like help and assistance. Oh, I don't get it. Look, if you couldn't do it and you didn't want to get the medication or whatever, or you didn't want to try something to help out, or even see if there was another spot in the job that you could actually do, you just fucking cut the rope and give up. But not before playing the fuck out of some people and still manipulating the situation to where you get something for doing absolutely nothing. These are the kind of people that I tell my kids about and like show them and like, absolutely not. This is not right. This is not what you should strive to be at all. The next thing, emotional protection. For some, it acts as a shield against despair or a way to avoid feelings of shame or vulnerability. Right. Because if you're always crying, okay, and you're always doing that thing where you're completely helpless and you can't do something because you're right. You don't have to deal with people and feeling shameful and all that stuff because no one's going to be around you long enough to fucking stand who you actually are. Okay? And for people who live in this state, we're talking live here. They get their money from this. They get their attention from this. This, like, it's sick. Like, it's disgusting. A sense of moral superiority is the next one. Many with this mentality develop moral elitism, believing their suffering makes them more virtuous or entitled to special treatment compared to those who have not struggled as they have. Holy motherfuck, did we just hit the fucking jackpot? Absolutely true. Absolutely true. Oh, these are like the one-uppers in life of shitty things. Have you ever met one? You know, where you like go in somewhere and you have a broken leg, but somebody once broke both of their legs and like and shattered half their spine and all this stuff. So like obviously what they went through was way worse. Like you have a broken leg, but it's not as bad as me having a broken leg, 2 broken legs. Like, oh my God, I don't get it. Like, there are some people who just, this is what they do. Like, life is so short. I say that. I fully expect to make it past the 100 mark. I honestly do. My husband doesn't think he will, but I have other plans for him, okay? So, like, even if that comes to replacing things bionically or whatever, you know, it doesn't matter. We've got a long road ahead of us. So, this is what I don't understand. I don't understand why it's better to not try in life, to not want more out of life. Like, if it happened as a kid, you got hurt as a kid, someone took extra good care of you, and you felt pampered and important and special and everything else, that's great at the time. It makes you feel better, makes you feel wonderful, okay? I get wanting to feel like that all the time, right? But at what point do you as an adult look in the mirror and you're like, you're totally fucking capable, right? Like, you don't need the sympathy. You don't need all that attention. And yet you fucking crave it. Is it like an alcoholic situation? Like just a need, like a high or something? Because I really don't understand. And maybe it's because I've known so many people to like use the system, or just like they are that selfish, that greedy, that fucking conceited and self-centered that they really don't understand anything but what they try to fucking do for themselves. You know, like their life is a pity party that nobody wants to go to, but they're always part of. Why is that better than trying to have something that's like yours that's great? Like, think of the word legacy, right? Legacy is what you leave behind of your name, of your family, your ways, whatever. Like, what is it that someone like that, a victim person, a victim personality, what do they leave behind? Like, do they teach the kids, which I understand that a lot of that can and definitely is generational. Okay, doesn't make it right, but like, what is the point? Like, let me think back to this person who also has kids. Do those kids say, man, that time my mom, like, what do you even do? What's something that you've done that doesn't involve sob story, poor me, my trauma, blah, 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 blah. Like, it's gross. It's gross. I don't understand. I don't understand. Just maybe because I've known so many people where it's like, what the fuck are you even doing here? Like, you don't contribute. You're not happy. You don't do anything. If the world could blink you out, right? And you just were not around anymore, would it change anybody's existence? Honestly, would you be missed? Would they worry about you? Like, or would it just be like, eh? Because what do you do? What the fuck? I don't know. So let's get into like root causes. It says learned helplessness. Enlightening. Often rooted in childhood. If a person repeatedly faces situations where they truly have no control, they may internalize the belief that they are always powerless, even when they later gain agency. Okay, well, this makes me think of like, but again, I mean, that's something though. I was going to say, you know, like the woman who is beaten, abused, whatever, and then the person that's doing it belittles and demeans and all this stuff, but that's like a mind warping, like that's an actual victim scenario, you know? And those are hard to get out of, and to like that's a legitimate trauma thing. But someone who doesn't have significant trauma, they're frauds, right? Early role modeling. A child may learn this behavior by observing parents or caregivers who consistently blamed others or external forces for their own problems. You don't say. Well, okay, that does make some sense. It really, really does. Because if it comes down to being accountable for something that went wrong or blaming someone else for whatever reason, always better to blame someone else to these people. Because one, you don't have to even talk about yourself at all. Not in that sense anyway. Trauma response is the next one. It can develop as a survival strategy or coping mechanism following severe betrayal, neglect, or abuse. Again, I've known people that have grown up horribly. I knew people who were treated despicably as kids or teens. However, I also know that even though some could not break that cycle and get out on their own and go for a fresh start and everything else and realize that no, it's not what they deserve and everything else, I have known people who got tired. They got tired, they were done, and they decided that, you know what, this is not what I want. Not for me, not for my kids. This is not right. This is not love. This is not normal and not what I'm going to put up with anymore. And so they could very well live in that role of, well, I can't do this because I get beaten, because I can't go anywhere, I'm not allowed, all this stuff. They could definitely play that victim card for the rest of their days, but they don't want to be the victim. They want to write their own fucking story where they're someone else. They don't want to be the one that's always crying and completely helpless. And they definitely don't want their kids to grow up thinking that that's okay to do that. So if real victim people who can live through some horrific shit, if they can decide that life is better by trying and not letting your trauma or your past or whatever, rule your stuff, your life, I don't understand how people can just choose to do this. There has to be some mental situation. There has to be. That's the next one. Mental health links. While not a diagnosis itself, this mindset is frequently associated with conditions such as depression, narcissistic personality disorder, or borderline personality disorder. A lot of mouthfuls this morning. So that makes sense. Okay. Depression is something that is hard for me to talk about because I feel like as a kid, you didn't hear about it as when I was a kid. I mean, kids today hear about it all the fucking time because if it's not depression, it's anxiety. If it's not anxiety, then you've got something, right? There's a label for fucking everything. You can't just be sad. You can't just be angry or upset. Everything branches off into things with diagnosis and medicines and all kind. You can't just feel something anymore and have it just be that. Every emotion is completely complex and mutated and just, yeah. So depression. So somebody who's depressed has the right to just not only live in that state, but that's an excuse for being completely helpless or emotionally manipulative or victim-like. I just don't understand. It's just something I don't know that I ever will understand, the victim mentality or the victimhood. So, okay, here we go. Distinguishing real victimhood, okay? Difference between victimhood and victim mentality. Victimhood is experiencing actual harm or injustice, and the mentality is a persistent way of viewing the self as a helpless victim even after the event has passed. I know way more people with a victim mentality than victimhood. And it's a little crazy because let's see. Those with a healthy outlook may be victims of a specific event but work toward recovery and regaining agency. Those are the people who actually have significant traumas, but they're not making that their life. They're not making that their focus and their reason to live. They are living beyond that, moving past that, not letting that hold them in that spot forever. Whereas those with a victim mentality may ruminate on past slights to maintain their victim identity. Why that bothers me so much is that if you never have to try, if you never have to have accountability, and still somehow you get attention and all of these people willing to do all of this stuff for you, what does that do? What does it do? It just breeds more of that. And I feel like we are so overloaded with that these days. I wish there was a purge way to deal with people like that. That may be insensitive or hurtful or whatever, but here's the thing. Horrible things happen to all kinds of people all the time, every single day. Some maybe just bad luck, some completely not even comprehensible, okay? Shouldn't even be a thing that exists. But the things happen every day. Different things to different people. And I don't understand why you go through it. And if it's not some significant trauma, like actual harm or injustice, like actual victimhood, if it's not that, why not just be upset in the moment, cry about it, then stop, move on, realize that there is more, so much more, so much more. You will get so much more out of life by honestly flipping the script. People who play the victim, have that victim mentality, they are all about how they look to other people. You have to keep up a show at that point. You have to always be pitiful. And why someone would strive to do that, aside from being a lazy fucking piece of shit, manipulative, narcissistic prick, aside from that, I just don't understand. But if you flip it, and you actually don't really care what people think about you, and you just want the life you want because you want it. Not because you think you're entitled to it or anything else, but because you worked your ass off and you earned it. You deserve it because you actually worked toward it. I don't know. Am I ass backwards and thinking that this is the right way to think? I don't know. I have kids, and I'm sure that I can't even say that because we watch so much shit about people like this, and even their faces at 11, 17, 20, they just don't understand, because I've never been one to cradle and coddle the victim mentality. So maybe the people who didn't have parents like me. Maybe everything was just bubble wrapped and just made to be like, way bigger than what it actually was, which made everything from then on bigger than what it actually was, so that if they ever, God forbid, encounter something actually big, that was catastrophic and never happened to anyone. And just like, it's crazy to think about. It's crazy to think about. Honestly, if you go through something shitty, I'm sorry, but you're not the first. You won't be the last. Cry about it and then stop. Move on. Stop fucking wallowing in it. This world is made up of so much manipulation and bullshit. It's just like, it's insane. And that's all. We're just going to step right out of that. We're just going to get out of it. Step right out. So this has been episode 17. Okay? Before, tempers get more spiked and all that crap and I start bringing out shit or getting, we're just going to cut it. So, we've covered a lot. Up, down, back, forth, whatever. If you are someone who knows, someone with this victim mentality, do you stand it? Are they someone that's worth giving it to? Yeah. Comment that. I don't know. Comment that. So this has been episode 17. We will see you next time. Thank you so much for watching, tuning in, and listening. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks again.